So I started as a stand-up, but always during my stand-up, I've always been a writer. I've always written on the side. I've always been working on scripts, working on movies. Toby and I have sold 2 TV shows together. And years ago, he saw me doing stand-up when I was deep in the stand-up, and he was like, "I think you have a sitcom in you. I think we could develop a sitcom." Dan Gilbert produced this movie with me, so Dan and I are partners on this movie.
Okay.
Dan Gilbert produced this movie with me. So Dan and I are partners on this movie.
Okay.
I'll honor Bob with everything I do in my career as long as I live. Because he gave me, put me in front of thousands of people for 10 years. I was his guy. I opened for him. It was just me and Bob doing a two-man show. That was it.
Hi, my name is Jason Raznick, the CEO of Benzinga, and welcome to the Raz Report. As always, before we kick things off, I want to quickly tell you about what Benzinga is. Before I started Benzinga in 2010, there were very few places to get real-time information on financial markets. I thought it was unfair that Wall Street had access to this information before the average Joe investor. So I created Benzinga to level the playing field for you, the retail investor. Benzinga is for the people and by the people. Now, let's dive into the show.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Raz Report. I'm very excited to have on this comedian, famous comedian, but he does have a comedy special, Who the F is Mike Young. So, Who the F is Mike Young? Is that right?
Who the F? We make sure we just say F.
Okay, but I mean...
Yeah, no, you're edgy.
Yeah, I'm a little edgy here.
You're edgy.
She got, the producer got a little worried that I said that in the first sentence, but I think it's good. Who the F is Mike Young? Okay, so excited to have Mike Young on. The guy has been performing with some of the biggest guys in the world, from Sebastian.
True. He
should be just a one-name person. Like, his last name is just too complicated.
He's gone through one-name iterations. He's done like a year at one name.
What is this? How do you say the?
Maniscalco.
Maniscalco. So you knew this guy when people didn't know him?
100%. 20 years ago, I knew him when he was a waiter at the Four Seasons and a comedian at the Comedy Store. And every night he would come to the store, do 20 minutes, put his waiter outfit on, and go back to the hotel and be a waiter.
Was he that funny then?
He has always been funny, man. He's obviously elevated his game to another level, but he has always been one of my friends because, when you're a comedian and your friends are comedians, at some point you just stop laughing. None of us like to watch each other all the time. But Sebastian was always one friend who I could watch and laugh every time. So, yes, I'm not shocked at where he is.
You're not shocked. So there should be a business, maybe there is, where you could take bets on people in the comedian space because, he's blown up. He's filling out Little Caesars. We're in Detroit today, Little Caesars Arena. And is he filling it out because you're the opening act, or is it because, I don't know.
I mean, bro, I'd love to tell you that he filled it out, but they didn't even know I was coming until Tuesday before the Friday show. He called me on a Tuesday, and he goes, this is literally what he said. He goes, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland. You in? I was on the couch at my mom's house.
Good imitation. That was good.
And I'm like, I'm in. And that was it. I went and did my hometown show, Little Caesars Arena. And no, man, he's been grinding and doing the road for 20 solid years and just building and building and building. And we were on the road together for years. Before that, the first 10 years we did shows together. But then around year 10 or 11, I started directing movies and writing movies and kind of got off the train of stand-up. And so the rest of my friends kind of just, boom, they just started blowing up in the stand-up world. And it's been awesome to see, man. I'm proud of him. He's my buddy. I get more calls for his shows than I do my own, which upsets me a little bit. And, yeah, bro, I could tell you a lot of stories about random cities of people that want to see Sebastian and hit me up for tickets, which I can barely ever get.
Oh, yeah, so... When you were performing with him, how many people hit you up for tickets for Little Caesars Arena or the Cleveland? I don't know where you guys did in Cleveland, but
I would say 11 people per show.
Per show,
and I don't get anybody tickets.
No one
except my mom, because Sebastian and my mom are tight, and Sebastian stayed in my mom's house during our tour.
Yes, that's where I was going to go. So on your tour when you guys were younger, or is it now when Sebastian stayed at your mom's house?
It was 10 years ago. It was the Young American Comedy Tour. So I created a comedy tour called the Young American Tour. And it was me, Sebastian, Brett Ernst from Cobra Kai, Bobby Lee, who you know, Bert Kreischer, who's a big comedian now.
Yeah, huge.
Huge.
You know him?
Very well, bro. We were on tour for a year together. Me, Kreischer, Sebastian, Steve Byrne. It was an unbelievable tour, bro. It was when I knew I liked to put things together.
Has anyone ever done 6 Degrees of Mike Young yet?
No, but thank you for the title, bro, because at the Ned, they're like, yo, we got to do a movie here. What's the title? I like 6 Degrees of Mike Young.
Yeah, the Ned is a hotel in New York that Wednesday you host with Richie Akiva, right? When I was there, Robin Thicke was there. You just had the guy from Silicon Valley perform.
Yeah, he's there every week now.
Is he?
Yeah, he won't leave.
Really?
He comes every week. TJ Miller. He's awesome.
See, like, you should be, can you make like a Netflix special from the Ned?
I could make a Netflix special, so I got to get the cameras in there, and we got to shoot it properly.
I mean, we got great cameras here. Look at this shit, you know?
Yeah, bro, here we go. We got 2K. What is this, 2K?
You got 3 cameras, 2 lights. I mean, the microphones, a mixer. You can do this and have this stuff and see if people want to, you can sell it and, you know, just get the distributor, and there you go.
I'll get Benzinga their first Netflix special.
There you go.
Brought to you by Benzinga.
Although you say that, you saw me in a Netflix special. You wrote me, you're like, dude, I'm watching Eat the Rich with about GameStop. And,
of course.
Yeah. Did you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Of course. Do I know? Yeah, bro. 2 weeks ago, I'm watching a Netflix special on the GameStop debacle or whatever it was, and there you are interviewing people that I knew in LA.
So here's the craziest. Oh yeah. So the Citron left. Andrew left. So here's what happened. His Twitter got hacked. One of our guys reached out, came on our show. We have like 800 people watching it. All of a sudden, 30,000 people are there. All these Wall Street bettors. This is before GameStop went crazy. Every YouTube show we have is like 99% thumbs up. These Wall Street bettors were calling me and my co-host Luke Jacoby boomers. We didn't own GameStop. We were like 80% negative thumbs. Basically, I was forced into buying GameStop on that show, and the next show, Luke bought it on the show, 200 shares or something. I bought it by the end, but then I never showed that I bought it. They needed to see proof. So the next day, another 20,000 people come, and I had to show proof that I bought GameStop, that I wasn't a boomer. And this was all because Andrew left, you know. And so that Eat the Rich, they have part of the thing, right, where the guy came on our show. But what they don't realize is we were forced into buying GameStop because we didn't want to get all this negative karma stuff. So we had to buy it. Now, did I make all the money on it? No, because I, you know, disposed of it later, and I was worried about it. I'm like, is this legal? But it was just like people pressuring me and calling me a loser for not owning it. So I bought a very small amount. It was 200 shares. It was like, at the time, GameStop was like at $14, so it wasn't like anything. Huge. You know, it went to $450, or more. I think it went to more than that actually. And but that was what happened when Andrew left, came on, and then he doesn't even do short selling stuff anymore. I mean, it's crazy. And you know him.
Does he? Yeah, I do know him. Does he not do short selling stuff anymore?
I don't think so. He was, I think his family, and he didn't like it, that all these people were attacking him. It's tough.
Got scary for him.
Got scary. I mean, just think if you're, here, like, so Benzinga, we write about the stock market. I mean, our whole thing is, everyone's so busy these days, so we try to, you know, answer the what, the who, and like, what does it mean to you? So it's a who, what, where, why kind of thing. And so how people can take action. If you write negative stuff, so Gawker and those sites back in the day, one of their past editors said, we would take a news item, no matter it was. Say Mark Cuban invested in some company. They would take the item and say, why does Mark Cuban want to take over the world? You know, like, why? They'd put a negative, and people remember the negative articles, remember the negative comments. And so that's like...
Interesting.
Because people want to, you know, that's when, if you read about feedback about you, Mike, if you read about it and you see positive stuff, but when someone rips you, that's what you remember.
Of course. I can't even take... Are you kidding? When I did My Man as a Loser, this one reporter from the LA Times wrote a negative review about my movie.
Oh, my God.
It crushed me so bad that I was looking around to find out where he lived so I could egg his house. Yep. I was disturbed for so long. But then I had... Let me name drop here. I had dinner with Todd Phillips, who directed The Hangover, The Joker. I was like, yo, bro, do you still get bummed out about negative reviews? So he tells me how everybody went against The Joker, which, by the way, made $1 billion. But when the first Joker came out, because there's another one coming out, but when the Joker came out, he had a problem. So I go, oh, man. I go, this one dude at the LA Times, he goes, what's his name? I'm not going to say his name, but I said his name. He goes, bro, that's the guy that went against me.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So at any level, you don't want negative. You know, you feel the negativity. You bust your butt for so damn long to, like, make a freaking movie. It's so hard to even get a movie done. And then some random dude with a freaking pen who's just mad that he's not a filmmaker or a writer or an artist that he wanted to be when he was 10 years old. You know, they critique you and they go in hard on you. So you're like, you know what? I will egg your house. So I'm on an egging tour right now.
Well, so
there's only a few people on it.
The media, especially in sports, but in media, they tend to say a lot of false things. I remember someone said that Dan Gilbert bought the Tigers, and like, and and it wasn't true at all. They just like put this stuff in, and then they make ups, or he sold the calves or whatever. He wants. It was just total false, false, and there's no accountability. And so I wanted to create a media site like just like you have TripAdvisor's for reporters. And then you get a Pinocchio score for your that was my creation, Pinocchio score. The longer the nose for the most incorrect things you have.
Yeah.
Because like everyone was like saying
it's a free for all.
Yeah, it's a free for all.
Everybody's got their opinion, they could say it, and everybody can throw out random fake news. And if it's negative, if it bleeds, it leads, right? That's been going on forever.
And family members literally would believe, oh, you're buying the Tigers, and it's just and so that LA Times writer, my guess is he knows he needs to write negative no matter what, even if he likes it. Like that's because if it bleeds, it leads.
He started making fun of John Stamos. The guy's been acting steadily for 35 years. This guy's just randomly going in on everybody in my movie. So, I'll find you, bro.
You'll find him. Well, the last person there's probably more people I want to egg too, but I used to deliver Pizza Hut, Orchard Lake Road, West Bloomfield.
Okay.
And Lone Pine, and there was a house I delivered. I even remember the street, like house, and the guy gave me 0 tip. This is 30 years ago probably, and yeah. And I want to egg that house. He gave me $0 tip. This kid, like still upset about that.
Listen, bro, I egged at 40. I egged a restaurant.
You did?
Yeah, in LA.
Why?
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because the restaurant was open till midnight. I knew one of the owners who was from Detroit. I went to the restaurant at 11:20 at night. It was still open for another 40 minutes. Bunch of people in there enjoying themselves. I walked up. Some dude opened the door, the manager, who was one of these, like, he had tattoos on his neck, a thing in his nose. He goes, yo, bro, we're closed. He slammed the door in my face. I go, I'll give this guy the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to say I want to carry out, and then I'll leave. I open. That's such a crazy story. He opens the door. I go, bro, I just want to carry out. I know the owner, whoever the owner is. I go,
Did you say the name?
Yeah, I said the name. He goes, I don't care who you know. I just told you we're closed. I go, bro, you're open till midnight. It says on the door. I know you're open till midnight. He goes, we're done. Boom, slams the door. I happen to be with my line producer of my movie, Italian guy from New York. I go, Vince, do me a favor, bro. Here's the keys to my car. Pull the car up on the corner right there. I'm going to the liquor store across the street to get a dozen eggs. This, by the way, shout out to Vince Maggio. He didn't even flinch. He gets my car, starts it, parks it on the corner on Sunset Boulevard. I go to the liquor store. I get a dozen eggs. I get in the passenger seat. And when the light turns green, I fire 6 solid eggs with a solid athletic arm.
Were you already in the car, or did you stand and throw it?
No, I was in the car.
Are you
sure? Went over the passenger seat.
And you definitely got.
Oh yeah, it was right there. The bay window was about 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Clean, nice bay window, and just boom, boom, boom. And I egged an establishment, and I have no guilt about it at all.
And
then I called them later. I said, "Yo, how was breakfast?"
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Did they know what the hell you?
Yes, I did.
And what'd they say? This whatever.
They just F you, blah blah. Who's this? Who is this?
And this was a Michigan owner of a restaurant. Okay. Yeah,
bro.
You
hired the wrong people.
Don't F with who the F is Mike Young. Don't F with Mike Young.
Don't F with me, bro.
Yeah.
You'll get egged.
So yeah. Okay.
Nobody gets hurt. It's just a cleaning situation.
That's what I should have done. There's a place in Miami. I didn't have a reservation. Okay. We had a car rental, and later I realized like friends like Irie would have got me in, but we had a car rental. My wife, I said, we cannot have the car pull in front. There was like Lamborghinis, Ferraris. Our car rental was probably like I don't know. It was like a Honda CRV or something.
It was a Camry.
Yeah, it was basically a Camry.
Yeah.
Anyways, my wife freaking can't find a parking spot somewhere, so then she pulls up to the valet, and our freaking thing is like, it's like, well, what's this? It's like, it's the same thing as Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop when he pulls up with the cement
truck. Yeah, be careful. Last time this happened.
That's right. That was the best line ever. Okay, have you met Eddie Murphy, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Well, we're gonna go to this guy has more celebrity connections than anyone in this world. So we're gonna go to that in a second. So
not true.
So we go up to oh my God, my wife will know because I've never been denied going into a bar like a club and
just a basic breakfast spot they wouldn't let you in.
We're going to dinner. We go in there and they're like, no, you can't get. I pull out a $100 bill, thinking I'm like a big mocker. Nope. So then I blame it on my wife. I'm like, why'd you wear this nun outfit, like, cause like all these girls are walking, and we didn't get in, and it's the place, but I should have, hey, I want to like see, it's like It's right off the water. The boats come there and hang out, and I should have come back with my eggs, but I never did.
They're on the list.
They're on the list.
They're on the list.
And then I have my guy. Now I've been invited, but yeah, they're on the list. Okay.
Getting in is such a thing, man, right? Getting in. Everybody wants to get in. Everyone wants to get in. And then sometimes you get in, you go, why did I fight so hard to get in here?
That's right. We probably would have gone in and been there for like 25 minutes, you know? Like, why did everyone wants to get in. They want to go where there's a line. If I opened a restaurant in town here, I would just like hire people just like stand in line.
You do great.
You do great.
You would kill it here.
Because you just want to get in.
I've gotten into many parties where I couldn't wait to go home.
Just right. It's like going to a Piston game or you want to get in because others want to get. You don't want to go to an empty place.
Yeah, it's an interesting psychology, man.
It's kind of funny because you kind of want like your own piece in your own place, but yet you want to get in. Like it's
you don't learn that till later in life. It takes a while to learn that.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, you want to always get in. Like I remember L.A. when I first moved to L.A. I was so good at getting in clubs because I just knew that like the bouncers probably didn't know a lot of information, so I would just make shit up.
Right.
Like the first club I got into in L.A., I told them I played for the Boston Celtics and my name was Mike Young.
No,
so I just used my regular name. I said it was Summer League. I was playing for the Celtics.
Are you kidding?
I looked in shape and in my 20s, and I got in.
That worked.
100% it worked. I went with Jesse Itzler. You know Jesse?
Was he famous then?
Yes, Jesse was famous as a rapper. He was Jesse James.
Yeah,
he couldn't get in. He goes, Mike, we're never getting in here. This is like, there's a line out the door. I go, watch this. And I walk, and he still tells the story to this day.
Wait, he wouldn't have got in because he wasn't like famous then.
Yeah, like he wasn't. Yeah, he was. His video for like "Shake It Like a White Girl" was just about to come out.
Okay.
And nobody knew him in LA yet. Nobody knew any of us. But I was like, bro, Detroit. I grew up in Southfield. I snuck into so many events with my boys.
Yeah.
Sneaking in was just the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like one of our friends ended up playing for like the Minnesota Vikings later in life. Yeah. He was like a star in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I went to Minnesota with him. He snuck us in to like Shaquille O'Neal's party. I was like, yo, Todd, you don't have to sneak in anymore. I goes, I love it. Yeah. Like, I love sneaking in.
Yeah, sneaking in is
sneaking in, bro.
Super Bowl party is snuck into my fair share of when they were in Detroit, and then it was in LA. But that's like, so sneaking in is part of the game.
It's part of the game, man.
Okay, now we're gonna go back to you. So you were a comedian, but then you get into movies. How many movies have you written, directed? And I know you have a bunch of stuff in the queue, but let's go to the Mike Young career a little bit.
So I started as a stand-up, but always during my stand-up, I've always been a writer. I've always written on the side. I've always been working on scripts, working on movies. I always saw making movies.
Did you go to school for writing or anything?
I did not. I went to Arizona University. I really took one creative writing class. Everybody in that class, and this was like a moment, this was like a watershed moment for me. I was in a creative writing class, and all these kids I was made to feel like they were like way smarter than me. You know what I mean? They were always like dropping these classic books, these novels, Dickens, Charles Dickens, Faust, Faulkner. They were just dropping knowledge left and right. I came out of Southfield. I wasn't reading any classics at the time. So we have an assignment in class, and I write this short story, and I write it in about 45 minutes, and I write it at the library. I think nothing of it. It's a story of a kid forced to go to a school he didn't want to go to. It's a 10-page story. I turn it in. I think nothing of it. All these wise-ass, smart kids in the class are bragging about their history, where they went to private school, this and that. And our teacher comes to school on Monday. The professor comes, and she's a published author. And she comes to school, and she goes, I just want to tell everybody that this is the paper that we're going to base our curriculum on, basically. Like, this is the paper that you want to write. And it was my paper.
Holy shit.
And I was like, holy shit, too. I was like, well, are you maybe she's wrong.
Yeah.
So it was
pranking you.
And it was just a short story that I wrote. And my teacher was like, basically came to me and was like, listen, you can write. Like, I don't know where you're from. I don't know how you came up with this idea, where you got it, but like you are fully into these characters, and this is like a movie idea. So that moment, I basically got super confidence in that I could write because it came from a real person.
Right.
But basically from that moment on, I was like, I'm going to become a writer at some point. But stand-up was like my dream, and I was always funny. So I'd go stand-up for, I started the Comedy Store. 10 years of stand-up comedy. I start touring with like Joe Rogan and Russell Peters, and these amazing comedians are taking me on the road because I'm kind of moving at a fast pace. But all the while, I'm writing on the side. Like at night, when I come home, I would just write for like 2 hours every night. and
Right.
like write screenplays,
Got it.
ideas for screenplays. Like, and but
You
I
would,
would write.
you would actually like you would do your comedy stuff, then you'd go at home and actually do the work. And
I would
like,
actually
stay
do the
focused.
work. I always had a 10-page a day discipline.
So that's what you did have a 10-page.
Yeah, that was my thing. If I could get 10 pages in a day, then I could finish 90 pages in like a week and a half, whatever.
What would you do with all the fucking screenplays?
Well, some never got made, some I sold.
Okay.
But I would just like, I would use them as samples, and people would go, "Oh shit, you could write.
Okay.
I'll hire you for something else."
Okay.
So I wrote. So I'm writing, and then 10 years into my stand-up career, I write something, and Doug Ellen, who created Entourage, is a good friend of mine. And these guys, these finance guys out of New York, came to Doug and said, "We want to hire you to write a comedy. We have like a loose idea." So Doug says, Doug says he doesn't have time, but let me introduce you to Mike Young. Doug introduces me to these guys in New York. They say, "Can you write? Can we read something?" I send them a movie that I had already written. They go, "We love it. Can we talk to you about an idea?" They talked about an idea, and that movie became My Man is a Loser with Michael Rappaport, John Stamos, Tika Sumpter. You know, that became a $5 million movie that we made. And so, excuse me, that was my first.
How did it do? When you say $5 million, it cost.
It cost $5 million. And to be honest, they were like big money guys. I basically told them the whole time, "Bro, you could shoot this for $2.5 million." But they were big time guys, and they basically wanted to say yes to every actor's demands.
Yep.
Everyone got a trailer.
Yep.
It was supposed to be. I wrote it as an independent film, but they treated it like a studio movie.
Yep.
That was on them. They spent a lot of money, and it became a really good movie. And it was my first feature film that I wrote, and then I directed it. And I had never really directed before. I'd never directed anything before. And so when they were looking for a director, I had read a bunch of stories about Barry Levinson, Woody Allen, Mike Nichols, all these great comedian guys who went on to direct but had never gone to film school. And so I basically pitched them and I said, "I promise you, because I know all the beats of this movie, I can direct this." And they agreed. I directed it, and it was a success. We sold it to Lionsgate. And that was my first movie, and it took me out of stand-up for a little bit because I was just too tired to go do stand-up. And from My Man is a Loser, that went on to Amazon and Lionsgate bought it, blah, blah, blah. After that premiere, the next group of finance guys, unbeknownst to me, they were at my premiere. So after the movie, My Man is a Loser premiere, these two guys come up to me, one who I knew, Danny A., and he's like, "Mike, we want to do a comedy with you. We love this movie." I'm like, "This is easy." And so then my stand-up and my writing, directing career kind of started to take on a life of its own.
Did you do a comedy then? Or no?
I did. I did a movie called A Stand-Up Guy that Netflix bought.
Okay.
And that was just like a miracle. It was like, what? Like the day of my premiere of My Man is a Loser,
you get another one.
I get another movie. And so then I did A Stand-Up Guy, which was a super fun independent movie that we shot. And we shot that for like $2 million. And Netflix bought it. It lived on Netflix for 2 years, and now it's on Amazon and all the other platforms.
So are you still making cash from it?
Yeah, I still get a check. Not a big check.
Like a nickel or
like 4 cents here, 9 cents there.
I don't know.
What I mean? I'm almost able to buy shoes.
They had the writer's strike. Are you part of like that? Like
yeah, but I didn't write during the writer's strike. That was recent.
I know, but are you?
Yeah, I'm in the Writers Guild.
You're in the Writers Guild, like you're.
I've been in the Writers Guild, yeah, since My Man is a Loser.
Okay, so you're
10 years ago.
So are you like it's in SAG? Is that what it is? Or the Screen Actors Guild? That's that. Writers Guild is something different. So
WGA is the Writers Guild.
And you're a writer.
I am a real writer.
Yeah, no, but you're part of that guild.
Of course I am.
Do you ever try to write for like one of those late night shows?
Yeah, I mean, I tried. Like maybe I sent in a bunch of jokes one time, but that's not my strength. My strength is story, character, long form, television or film. And because I'm a character guy, I'm a dialogue guy. I love to like pick up a character's voice and just go with it. But early on in my writing career, yeah, I tried. Like I submitted for that and didn't get it. I mean, I've been told no way more times than I've been told yes.
So that's my next question. Have you actually reached out a lot and been told no a lot? Like I feel like you haven't been told no a lot.
No, I've been told no a lot. I mean,
come on.
I can't remember last time I got told no.
See, I don't think. Yeah. See, I think you because
I have submitted movies. Like I had a movie
Okay.
called The Little Things that I still to this day think is like an amazing romantic comedy that I'm dying to do. And like every producer, a ton of producers in LA wanted to do it, almost did it, to attach people to do it, and it never got made. So in that way I've been told no. But I haven't really been told no, like doors haven't been slammed in my face.
Yeah.
Because if you shut a door on me, I'm just the type of person who just goes around the door.
that's right.
I keep going.
Yeah,
I just keep it moving because I believe that if you make something good, it will get out there if you just keep pushing.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in the scrap metal business. My dad was an entrepreneur. I know what it is to work your ass off.
What was the scrap metal business called?
Young Iron and Metal.
Young Iron and Metal.
Yeah. So my dad was just a scrap peddler.
My uncle was grew up in the scrap business. He was shot when he was younger. He was like in the scrap business. Like,
Yeah.
he's alive, but I'm saying he got so like it's a crazy business, the
Yo,
scrap business.
My
you know?
good friend's father got shot in the scrap business, and they killed him and fucking took his money.
Jesus.
But my dad, we were careful, but I was rolling on a scrap truck, up and down 8 Mile my whole childhood.
Yeah, it's a big business here in Michigan. So you're writing, you're directing. The other thing is,
to answer your question, I'm on my 4th movie. You asked me
your
how much. Yeah,
4th movie.
Yeah.
And your biggest one so far has been what? Which one?
I think My Man is a Loser has been my most successful. Actually, I don't know because I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I don't know. Like, I learned the most on it. It was like the most fun one, but a stand-up guy was like, because we only had like $1.5 million or whatever, 2 million, under 2 million to make it. When they put me in like a confined box to make something creative, I actually get excited about that. So to me, you
like
don't need.
Yeah, you like.
I like to have to be as funny as you can in this little, budgeted piece. I don't need the big giant money studio.
Isn't another Detroit guy Mike Binder?
Yes, friend of mine.
So have you done stuff with him ever? Like
I did the Netflix special for Saget with Binder, so I was on that special.
Got it. Okay.
So Binder and I really became friends off that, but I've never worked with Mike.
Have you thought of ever like going to work for a studio or any of that stuff, or you're too entrepreneurial? Your own
I've
drum?
thought about it. You mean like?
I don't know.
President of development at a studio, things like that?
Yeah, like Lionsgate back in the day, or like being the creative or writing. I don't know how it works. Like Steven Spielberg has DreamWorks. Todd Phillips, I don't know if he has his own thing. I have no idea. Like,
I mean, I have my own production company, but I'm on the cusp of like doing a deal with a Lionsgate type of company where they come to me and go, Mike, we want to be in business with you for all your projects. Here's your salary. Here's your office. We'll own a piece of you. I have thought about that bigger play, but in the meantime, it's like I keep getting jobs for things that I love.
We talked for 5 minutes before here, and I don't know what you're allowed to say from one of the biggest singers in the world. You wrote a part for him. The biggest, I would argue, one of the biggest singers in the world. And I don't know if you're even allowed to say, but like he fills out 50,000 person stadiums like no other, and he's like a one-man show, and it's freaking unbelievable. Unbelievable. You don't have to say a name. You don't have to say name, but it's like those are like amazing things. Like, how do you leverage that? I guess you make the money, but when it performs, like, are you on the back end of it, or do you get paid up front? Like,
I get paid both ways as a writer director. So you get paid up front to write, up front to direct, and then you have you have your lawyer negotiate a piece of the back end. So if it's a hit, you make a great make great money.
But does it become? Let's say the writing and the directing is great. Okay, let's say Mike, you do a great job writing, directing. People love it. Okay.
Yeah.
How does it become a big hit in the sense of? Do you have a producer that then works on the distribution of it? Like my contention is there's movies that I think are really good, but they never got the distribution.
That is 100% correct. So that's why on my new movie, I want to make sure I get the right distribution partner who believes the same way I believe about this movie being a hit. And they have to put the right marketing behind it. Listen, every director forever that you read about has the same beef, right?
Yeah.
I want a distribution partner who believes the way I believe about this movie. And you have to get as much control as you can in terms of the marketing and how the movie looks to the public when it comes out. Because some of these companies will just buy it, own it, and they'll just go sell a piece. They'll make their money. Here, Mike, say I make a movie for $2 million. Here's $1 million, Mike. Right? Now we're going to go make, $800,000. We're gonna sell it in in Spain. We're gonna go make $1 million in France. We're gonna go make $1 million in Italy. Now they're already making their money, and they can tell you that they spent $6 million on marketing. Well, I have no way to really prove if that's true.
Right.
So there's all this accounting going on in that world that you just want a partner who's like, Mike, we think you have a hit too, and here's how we're gonna market it. It's really tough.
But is that partner the distributor or the producer?
The distribution company. Well, your producer is either your person that financed it,
Yes,
or the person that or that's a line producer who's on set every day making sure you're coming in on budget.
got it.
So producer is a loose term.
Very
But
loose
you can
term.
really make a great amount of money if you shoot for low and you sell for high,
Right.
and that's really
Just like
what
the stock market.
Totally, and that's what I love about the indie world. I can make these things for $1 million, $2 million. Let them go make 6, 4, 5, 9. I don't care, but I mean I do care because I own a piece of the back end. But I haven't yet had my. And by the way, maybe it's, maybe I'm a control freak. I've been told that I'm, that I can be difficult at times.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on. No,
I'm like, I get along with everybody, but
Yeah.
when it comes to like a project I believe in, I
Yep.
go nuts, bro. I go all in for this shit.
Yep.
And so I really just want a partner who's like, yo, Mike, we're with you. Just tell us what to do. Like on my new movie, Stealing Jokes, I've got 4 or 5 of the biggest comedians in my movie. So if you're a smart, distribution company and you're a smart marketer, you go, oh my God, I already have a tour built into this. We can go around the country with the people in the movie and talk about this movie. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
So I already know this movie is going to do very well.
But so that's really so. Then you as the director writer, are you then reaching out to distribution places, or are you having someone else do that? That's
I have my producers, like my guys that are producing my movie, the line guys. They reach out, but through my relationships over the years, I know people too.
Yeah.
So like my friend who I played hockey with is the president of Lionsgate's distribution.
Do you still play hockey?
I do still play hockey.
Really? I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that play
Men's
hockey in
league,
town.
yeah, men's
I
league.
know, but I have a lot of friends that play hockey in the mornings.
Yeah,
And
so
they-
I'm not in my league in Detroit yet. I'm just
Oh.
coming off my LA league, and I'm
Okay.
like spending too much time in New York.
I can get
But,
you. I can get you in the Detroit league.
Please do.
Oh, I for sure can.
Please do.
My guys are big hockey players.
I
But
love it.
The only problem is then you're gonna be all friends with that group, and then you're gonna have too many friends, and I'll never get to talk.
No,
to you.
bro,
Yeah.
Jason Raznick is always in.
I'm
You
gonna
know
lose.
you know how I feel, bro.
I'm gonna lose the.
You say you want to go to the Ned, you're there.
Yeah,
you got
the
a
Ned was
table.
sweet, yeah.
It's a done deal. I got you.
Wait, so we're talking we're talking with Mike Young, comedian, writer, tour biggest players in the world. So we were talking about Sebastian. You did that Young American comedy tour. He kept with comedy. You got in the movie and the writing side of things. Kind of left comedy for a little bit, and you still do you open with Sebastian.
Yeah.
Another guy that you traveled with was Bob Saget. We're gonna get to him in a second. For many years, but like your network goes from Tobey Maguire, Leonardo DiCaprio, just like I mentioned Mike Binder. We mentioned a mutual person we know, Paul Rosenberg. He
Goes deep.
He was one of the texts that
Yeah.
And it's like
I like people.
And-
I just like people. I've always been a people person. I like being social. Like,
Have you found a way to work with like a Tobey Maguire, or is that his?
Oh, yeah,
is his
Tobey and
star
I-
just too?
no, Toby and I have sold 2 TV shows together.
Really?
Yeah. So Toby, this is 9 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it is. Toby.
When I was 25 pounds skinnier, people said I look like Toby sometimes. But anyways,
I could see that.
yeah. So got
The blue eyes, the wide-eyed look.
who
Always
knows?
looking like you're surprised whatever room you go into. No, but Toby is a good friend, and years ago he he saw me doing stand up when I was deep in the stand up, and he was like, I think you have a sitcom in you. I think we could develop a sitcom. And obviously being from Detroit or Southfield, Michigan, I'm like super excited. I'm like, what are you talking? Like you're gonna executive produce this? Are you serious? So we developed 2 shows together. One we sold to ABC, and they ended up not putting it on the air. It just they put other shows on the air, and then we sold something to HBO together. And yeah, I've developed.
Did they put it on there or no?
No, they chose a thematically similar show in Crashing. They did the show called Crashing about a comedian who like lived on someone's couch with Pete Holmes, who's great. But that was the same exact time that I sold a show to HBO with Toby. And so they put that show on. And, I never forced anything with my friends who are like very well known. I never forced anything. I always just present it to them like, here's a great idea. And by the way, they're businessmen. So Toby's not doing any favors. You know what I mean? He's like, in his mind, he's like, I'll get sitcom money on top of Spider-Man money. And he knows that if it's a good idea, then let's go forward with it. And he really is like a really smart, incredible storyteller himself who also knows the business so well that you could have a lawyer read your contract, but Toby will freaking know your contract just as well as the lawyer.
Wow.
And so
Does he have his own production company?
He does.
Is he so like Adam Sandler has his own production company, and in most of his movies he puts his friends from
his friends in.
Yeah, like so.
And, yeah, man. Listen, man. I'm not Sandler's. Like those guys establish themselves, and I've had like a zigzag ascension.
Have you met Sandler and stuff?
Oh yeah. Toby and those guys used to take me to his house every week and play basketball.
Oh really?
I used to play ball at Sandler's house literally every weekend.
You couldn't be one of the characters in the movies, like come on, you're playing basketball.
I think I scored like 25 points at his house and he never talked to me again.
Oh yeah, you dominated in that game. What are you doing, man? That's like
bro, it's the funniest story. So Sandler, I'll be honest, he's a great guy. He's super nice to me and blah blah blah. But like Sandler had his backboards were like loose. He had loose backboards.
Yeah.
So anything you put off the glass at Sandler's house went in.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know this like the first time I go over there, and I'm draining off the backboard, bro, to the point where my buddy who brought me there, not Toby, but like another friend who's not in the business, he's like, yo, what the hell, Mike? You just showing off over here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I can't miss today. And Sandler, I remember exactly what he said. He goes, how about just good shot? You know what I mean? Like, how about, he's telling my boy, like, how about your boy's just playing great? How about just be nice to your boy? And so Sandler's a super cool dude, and I played a lot of ball with him. And, I met my network through those guys who I met.
Do other guys do like what Sandler does with putting their friends in movies?
I mean, I don't know if anybody's done it to the level of Sandler because he has carte blanche over at Netflix and wherever he goes.
Yeah.
But that's what I would like to do. I've put Michael Rappaport's in 3 of my movies.
Got it, yeah.
So when I find an actor or a piece of talent that I like to work with who's incredible and always on time and professional and delivers every time, why not work with your friends? But that doesn't mean I'm not open to new talent. Like I love, like on the new movie, I met this kid Luke Null who was on SNL for a year, and I never heard of him, never seen him in my life. He auditioned for my movie, and he nailed it so strong that I was like, dude, who are you? Like you're in my movie. And so now he's a character in my movie.
That's great.
And so when I can find new talent, bro, I'm a fan.
If you need a female singer, Benzinga has this girl, Carly Lush, recorded few music videos. She works here. I don't know where she is right now, but she...
send me her stuff.
Yeah, I don't know where Carly is. Where's Carly, Malia? Oh, she should... Well, before we leave, we'll connect.
I put my buddy Ira, who I played hockey with, his daughter's a singer. She sent me 5 songs. One of them was perfect for a scene.
Not Ira's all that.
Schlessel.
Okay, okay.
Do you know
my
him
brother? My brother plays.
Yeah. So we grew up in Southfield together. Yep. He's like, Mike, my daughter's a singer. I listened to one of her songs. It fit for a scene.
Oh, really?
I put it in the movie.
That's great.
Bro,
That's
I love doing stuff like that, man. People have helped me my whole way
that's why
up.
I was like saying like cameos. Like there's no way like Leo would do one of these small things, but like cameo, and you don't want to bother them for that.
Well, Leo's not doing it. I can promise you, Leo, as a business move, is not doing a cameo in my independent film.
Okay, never.
And he's even said to me jokingly, like, yo, Young, I don't do indies. You know what I mean? Like, just joking, but kind of not. Like, he makes only $100 million movies.
Yeah. When traveling.
But by the way, Connolly directed Kevin Connolly from Entourage directed Who the F is Mike Young.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm grateful for my friends, and I'm grateful, but I always knew that in front of everything else, I had to be good at what I was doing because my boys were not the type of guys who were just like giving favors out.
You had to have something. You had to have.
Yeah,
you had
I'm not.
You had to have that. Je ne sais quoi. Yeah.
Sebastian's not putting me in front of 15,000 people if I'm not funny.
By the way, when you're doing those things and speaking in front of so many people, like you must have like DVDs people can buy. I mean, they could go on Netflix. Like, is there a way to monetize it other than just getting an appearance fee? I mean, getting your name out there more, I guess, is that the idea?
Well, every time I do a Sebastian show,
Yeah.
I pick up 1,000 followers, and then I end up
Instagram.
getting like another 5,000 people watching Who the F is Mike Young.
Okay, got it.
So it just keeps.
And you get paid when people watch you, Mike?
I do. I do. But to your point, I'd love to figure out a way to have my own little. I know there's companies out there doing it now, but where it's like I'm my own network.
Yeah, just to get
And people
royalties.
subscribe to
Right.
like the Mike Young network. And I know there are companies, and I've been offered deals from those companies. I haven't fully vetted the situations yet.
And then you got
but
to figure out how, like, what do you charge? Is it a monthly subscription? Or
yeah,
is
I
it-
think it's a monthly, and I think
Yeah.
it's literally all my stuff goes onto one platform. You charge a monthly, and that's it. Now I'm just my own network, and that's really where the business is going, because I think artists have had enough of like giving so much away. And so, it's funny, Jason. I spend 80% of my energy literally writing and performing. That little 20% that I have left, I could do better in my like business brain. You know what I mean?
But by the way, it's all of us, right? It's like it's all of us. We do what we kind of like to do and what we're passionate about. There's a quote, I forget where it says, like, this person, I saw it on Instagram, was like, the magic is doing the things you don't like to do. The magic is in doing the things you don't like to do.
For
and
sure.
like so I try to eat, it's like there's a book called Who Ate My Frog or something like that. It's like, or Eat the Frog, or it's like
Move my cheese.
something like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
another
yeah.
one. Who might you?
Yeah.
But it's like, do the thing that you're most challenged by first thing in the morning. So then you and like some of the stuff is like reaching out versus just responding to emails,
Yes.
and following through, and and that's where a lot of connections are made. And
Absolutely.
like your network happened, I feel like, just more organically. Sometimes you got to go force your network, and that's like, I went to a site called, I don't know, Charity Buzz, and I bought lunch with Rich Kleiman, Kevin Durant's agent, and like that was, I forced that one a little bit. People offered to introduce me, but I didn't want. When someone's introducing, I don't want to be in, like, take their time if I've, like, so I rounded to donate to his charity instead. So it's like you give and take, and you have to give more than you receive. So you have a lot of things in the works. What are some of the couple of upcoming movies or shows that you can talk about that you have coming out, or is there anything?
I could talk about Stealing Jokes, right? I could talk about Stealing
What's
Jokes.
Stealing Jokes about?
Stealing Jokes is my new movie starring Michael Rappaport, Luke Null, Jeff Dye, HaHa Davis.
Is it out?
No. I just finished it. I'm in post-production on Stealing Jokes. It'll be out in within 6 months.
When you say you're in post-production, what the heck does that mean?
It means when you're done physically shooting your film, you edit it in post. You do color, so you color correct your movie so it looks right. You do sound design, so all the sounds are in. You put music in, and you do everything so that it's ready to go.
Do you have like an edit crew working on this?
I do.
Okay.
Excuse me. I have a whole post-production crew.
Okay, cool.
So my post-production
Where are
crew,
they? What state?
L.A., and a couple people are in Detroit.
Okay.
And, Dan Gilbert produced this movie with me. So Dan and I are partners on this movie.
Okay.
And this is by far like my
Dan Gilbert, founder, founder, chairman at Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies, and owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. And Dan's been a great advocate and a great friend.
Yep.
And so I came to Dan. Another company wanted to do this movie with me in L.A. over a year ago. And I started going down the line with these guys, and I didn't like the way it was going creatively. And I called Dan. I don't know if I told you this story, but I literally just texted Dan. I said, I have a movie about comedians that go on the road and start robbing comedy clubs. It's a heist movie. And I said, it's my best idea yet. I am going down the road with some people that I'm not happy with right now. If you're interested, I'll shoot it in Detroit. He wrote back, and I'll never forget, Dan writes back, no such thing as a good deal with a bad guy, regarding my guys I was going down the road with. So I said, if you want to do it, let me know. I send Dan the script. I'm thinking that he's kind of just talking just to kind of appease me, and like he's just talking. I don't know how serious he's texted Dan. I said, I have a movie about comedians that go on the road and start robbing comedy clubs. I don't even bother him about it because I'm like, there's no way Dan's going to do this. A week later, he texts me, and his text message is literally my deal on a text. 50-50 partners, I'll give you the money, blah, 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 distribution this, I want this many points. My lawyer will call you Monday. So I literally am thinking to myself, he thinks I'm somebody else, and this is like a shoe company he thinks he's talking to. I'm like, there's no way this is really
Like
my
StockX,
movie. Yeah. So I just write back, I'm so excited because I think this is going to happen. I send a heart back, like, love you, bro. Like, I just send a heart. And he's like, what's wrong with you? I go, thank you so much. I can't believe this is happening. I still don't think it's going to happen. Come Monday, his lawyer calls. I put him in touch with my lawyer. We make a deal. I make a movie. Stealing Jokes is the movie. And here it comes.
So when will it be coming?
After
6
the
months?
new year, for sure. But, you know.
Do you have to work on now getting the distribution?
We're talking to a couple of different companies who's going to be the distribution company on it. But just like I was saying before, I want to have the right partner because I would put this out myself with the marketing machine that we have and skip the fat middleman and just do this. I would do it the most independent way you can because that's how much I believe in this movie.
Is this indie?
Indie. We shot it for $2.5 million, and I'm telling you this. Listen, you make what you want to see. Like Tarantino always says, write the movie you want to see, direct the movie you want to see. And
it's
on this
drama,
one,
it's suspense, it's
funny. It's action
I know,
comedy.
But you said they robbed.
Yeah, it's an action comedy.
So there has to be some
it's
drama.
Every comedian. Oh, there is, but it's every comedian's dream. Every comedian on the road has been screwed over by a club owner at some point.
Yeah.
Has been told they're owed $5,000, they only get $2,000. So every comic from Chris Rock to myself has thought to themselves, I am going to rob this place.
It's like, it's going back to your story of egging the fucking place.
It's revenge. It is a tale for every artist, every comedian, every underdog that's ever put their life on the line for a job and gotten screwed over. And this is that movie.
Oh, this is revenge.
This is a revenge
This
film.
is almost like Rudy and Rocky.
It's Rudy, it's Rocky, Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes,
it's all of them, bro.
it's revenge.
Because comedians,
that's why I'm here today.
We get treated, even though we like bring the most joy, that that's our job. Notoriously, comedians don't get treated well in the business of comedy. They just don't until they get Sebastian's level. But there are some of the funniest dudes in the world that go and do a spot for $40 in New York or LA. You know what I mean? They go do a spot because they're working on their craft. And to me, it's always like, how can we get comedians what they deserve? Like, I want to get comedians the most money they can get, the most. There's too much talent to be shorted.
Do you like that Joe Rogan does that for his show and brings on comedians on his show?
Yeah, I love Joe, bro. Joe's the first one that put me on the road.
Do you know it?
Very well.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't been on a show yet, but I believe that I will when the movie's about to come out. But Joe Rogan was the first.
Can I carry your luggage that trip?
Bro.
I'll be your security guard that trip. Okay?
You'll be my wealthiest assistant.
There you go.
You'll be my assistant who doesn't need the job.
Yes.
I would love everybody on that.
And I won't be like, hey Joe, I'll be respectful. I'll be quiet. I know our friend probably doesn't think I can be quiet, but I can be quiet. You know.
You don't have to be quiet, bro. I don't shush people anymore.
No, you can shush. It's all right.
I've been known to be like controlling and like. I've brought friends to like Leo's house. I've brought friends to Toby's house. Yeah. Like just. You got to pick who you can bring around because, I've grown up with some wild people. I can't just bring anybody.
Yep.
But you have to know who you can bring around that type of situation just because they've got more to lose.
Being those guys is, it's fun in one spec, but they can't go anywhere without someone, can I get a photo? I mean, the iPhone has ruined celebrity. Like, the iPhone is so ruined celebrity, I don't even know. It's like...
Bro, part of us hanging out back in the day was blocking cell phones from recording Leo and Toby, just standing in front of them when you see a cell phone going. And it just happened all the time. And it's a tough spot, but...
So you don't want to get too famous then, Mike?
I don't want to be... No, I don't. The only reason that being famous is great is so that you can just keep selling tickets to your shows.
Right.
The fame really isn't...
Well,
I see my friends that are famous. It isn't a great thing for a lot of them. You know, they're not complaining, but like... I don't know, it'd be a little nerve-wracking, but being well known so you can do your craft at the highest level and be paid for it, that's really what really what you
that's
want.
Like we have our Benzinga events in New York next week, and I don't even know what day. Are you at the Ned next week?
Yes.
We have events in New York next week. 500, 600 people each day.
That's amazing.
A FinTech Deal Day, and one's a crypto or digital asset real estate
What
investing.
day are you going?
I know you have those guys at the financial advisory firm that we should get sponsored. What day am I don't know yet. I have to book.
I wish you would have told me, bro. I could have thrown you a sponsor probably.
You told me.
I have people in your world.
You told me you have that one. I know.
Big time.
I know. Oh, yeah, they do the work for, I know, the guy.
Blackstone. The companies that I never heard.
Oh, Blackstone. You don't know in there. Okay, come on.
No, I'm not even kidding.
And then this, the Fertitta.
Bro, you
yeah,
might have to
this-
put me on your board.
For sure. Let's go, Luke.
You know what I
come on,
mean?
get him on. I don't even know where Luke is. He's
How do we make a
skipping.
business out of all the people I know?
There is a business there.
I'm gonna have a black card. Like it's
There-
gonna be like a concierge business.
Yeah,
You pay to be involved every year, and you just call me. I'll get
yeah,
you in.
Yeah, that's there. There's multiple businesses there. Like, so for example, here's a business: retired sports players. Like companies could use an athlete at their company for 6 months because they can open doors to anywhere. You know what I
Yes.
mean? There's a business to that. So
Course there is.
Cal Ripken.
Concierge.
Yeah, but they open the door. We want to get to, that's the kind of thing. The concierge, that's the,
I've thought about that for a while because so many people have tried to like we talked about before getting in, but that's another business. You'll have to help me structure that.
I'll have to figure
I'm busy.
Yeah, you're busy. You have these movies
In a
and-
good way.
Yeah, so that movie, say that it's Stealing Jokes, it's called?
Stealing Jokes. Get ready. It's coming in
Okay.
2024.
I don't know if you're friends with this guy, but there were some scandals in this comedy world of people stealing jokes from each other.
I am not friends with Carlos Mencia, if that's who you're referring to.
Yes, that's who I'm referring to.
And I don't hate him. I don't even know him really, but he used to come to the Comedy Store all the time. But I was at the Comedy Store the night that Joe Rogan went on stage with him and basically buried him.
You were there?
I was there.
I've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've seen that. And were you like, holy shit, Joe wants to get in a fight?
No, because Joe's such a badass, he
Was he
knows he doesn't fight.
Was he a badass then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Joe was a judo champion when he was 12.
Okay, yeah. So he was he really went into him there.
He went all in with no fear. And
you're a boxer, by the way. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we should play some B-roll now, but I've seen you do that thing, and because you've been
it's a-
boxing since a little kid, too.
I have. I've been boxing since I was 10 years old. I love boxing. But I never did the UFC. I never did jiu-jitsu. I just always loved boxing.
Would you do a boxing match for $500,000 against
Jake Paul?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I think I get a lot of headaches at this point in my life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Jake's
yeah.
young. He's
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah,
I don't want to get punched in the face anymore. I love
Yeah.
the workout. I like jumping rope. I like hitting the bags.
Yeah.
That being said, I do want to get back in the ring just to mix it up a little bit, just to kind of feel what it is.
Because you're involved with Detroit.
Boxing, downtown boxing gym.
Very nice charity.
It's
foundation,
amazing.
helps kids.
Helps kids everywhere, man.
Yeah.
It's a really great platform for these kids.
Okay. Do you hate when people say to you, "Tell me a joke"?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. Because you just
Because I don't have one. I don't have a joke. I have stories that I tell.
Yeah, that's
I
what
have
you do.
bits. I don't have two guys went into a bar and da-da-da. I really don't have jokes like that.
Yeah, see,
So people are tell me a joke. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do a 6-minute bit for you.
you have stories. That's your.
I have stories. And
Yeah.
I haven't done my podcast in a while, but I had a podcast going called Stories That Need to Be Told. And I kind of just, after, while writing and directing, I kind of faded out of my own podcast zone. So I'll probably come back with that.
Is your humor more like observational humor or?
It is. It's observational. It's the human condition. It's relatable. It's kind of stuff. It's everyday stuff that people go through, whether it's relationships, family, friendships, what you see out in the world. It's observational, but it's edgy. It's edgy observation.
How do you like Ellen DeGeneres' comedy? Like when she does a joke, she keeps going and takes it, and I think it's pretty
I like
creative.
it.
Yeah, me too.
I like it. I've always liked Ellen as a comedian.
Me too.
I always liked her as a
I j-
comedian, even before I did stand-up.
I just bid on her last night for a video message. So my dad's gonna
nice.
turn 80, and there's some eBay auction right now, and she's on it. It was a low number, but it's 7 days left.
Yeah.
And I think if I could get, I'm committed to winning this auction. Oh shoot! Don't
Yo.
publish this for 7 days.
By the way, this is a great character. Like, you bid on auctions for
you-
celebrities all the time.
You have no
it's
idea.
amazing.
You have no.
That's
maybe
like-
you have no idea.
Yo, they did the
Do
movie.
you know my Tom Brady debacle, and I still just better get. It's Tom Brady, and I spent serious money, and I brought clients, and it was a debacle.
and they still haven't given you the Brady gift?
Like, my wife's involved with the charity. They probably give us the money back and stuff, but can't do that. No, the Brady gift. We went to Tampa. We were at the practice. Tom Brady was 20 yards from us. But the guy that was there with us, he played golf with the old coach yet the day before. The old coach didn't come. I was supposed to get relayed. Then Tom's leaving the practice, walking in the locker room, to our guy that was there. I'm like, Tom. and like message didn't get relayed, and then I didn't want to like call the person who had the charity, like say, hey, this is not. I did finally late at night, like at 9 o'clock. She's like, holy shit, and they're trying to like make it up that like while we're there. Never, and I
didn't happen.
It didn't happen, and like I don't even think Tom realizes
he
this
doesn't
stuff
know
because I have this story with Tom.
I promise you, Tom Brady has zero idea.
Because when I was in college, Tom Brady was in tears to me and my two best friends. For real, I thought it was a dream that I had when I was in college. I did. I thought it was a dream that I had that Tom Brady cried to us. I thought it was a dream. About 3 or 4, no, my daughter's bat mitzvah 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. That my best friend who's in New York, from Detroit, we're at their mitzvah. I brought up this Tom Brady thing. I'm like, I think I had this dream. And Dave and Jeff, they had the same exact story. It was after I think Michigan lost to Illinois, and outside Rick's, but where Steve's back room is, Tom is sitting on the ledge. Like and the picnic table, we're sitting there. Tom's on the ledge. All the Michigan football players are going down to Rick's, and Tom is literally like emotional and tears about the loss. And this was like, because, his quarterback channel, going back and forth with Drew Henson. And I just want to know if Tom remembers that story. And like, so we were going down. I bought this auction item and go to Tampa, and I went and got all this stuff, and we're there, and he's, and then it doesn't happen.
Brady.
What? No Brady. And it's like
we could get that.
There is a movie, Brady for 80, and then he meets those people.
Yeah, no, there's a movie in what you do, because that is such a trip, because there was a movie called Nebraska where the one person like always thought that everything that came in the mail was going to happen. Every sweepstakes, they went after everybody for the sweepstakes.
Yeah.
It really, bro.
Yeah, you got to
be like a sweepstakes addict.
You got to be careful buying these auctions, because some of these things like get complicated and they don't happen. Like there's one right now where you can go on the set of some movie that's getting filmed. I could show it to you. That's why the one I just sent you with Jesse Itzler. Like go to a basketball game with him. Like
I'll make sure that happens.
I didn't bid yet, but we have 7. We're gonna do that one. We're gonna do that. But he said only 2 seats, so how are we gonna do that?
Then it's you and Jesse.
We need 4 though. I mean, if you're gonna come,
you're bidding. You get us 4.
Well, he owns part of the team. I feel like, right?
Yeah, he does.
Because you knew him. Didn't he make that little jingle for the?
Yeah, and go New York, go. I've known Jesse almost. I signed his marriage license.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You signed his marriage. Katuba?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Jesse and he's one of my best friends for 30 years.
Really?
When I got out of college and I moved to LA a few years after college, my old college roommate was like, you got to meet my boy Jesse. You guys will be best friends. And Jesse was, my roommate was from New York.
Yeah, University of Arizona. I know. That's what
I went to U of A. And so my roommate was from New York. He knew Jesse. Oh. And so I walked up to Jesse. He was alone in a restaurant. I was alone. I go, hey, man, Mark Feinside says like we should be friends. And he's like, what's up? Yo, we'll be friends. And next thing you know, I'm in his video, and we're hanging out, and cut to 30 years later. I love Jesse.
Our original investor in Benzinga, who's done very well off Benzinga, is like Brad Kewell. They somehow.
Oh, yeah. He's good friends with Jesse.
Yeah, he's good for. Yeah.
I've seen him. I performed for one of Brad's like fundraisers somewhere, but I actually don't even know Brad that well.
Oh, I know Brad well.
Yeah. He seems like a good dude. And
he's
him and Jesse are tight.
Yeah, so
that's small
Brad
world.
and Eric, they're from Chicago. They started Groupon.
Yes,
that's
small company
and many other.
I went to high school with Lefkowski.
You did?
Yeah.
Like your year? Or
he's younger than me.
He's younger than you?
Yeah. He's like a year younger.
Did you know him?
I knew him very well. Played baseball with him. Knew his dad.
Like if I text him and say,
he'll be super happy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'll send him the photo.
We're still friends. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Him and Brad are the ones that invested in Benzinga.
Yeah.
First time. Eric and Brad.
Wow.
They are business titans though.
Titans.
Titans. Like they.
Lefkowski's. He's so cool. The last time I saw him, we were. Actually, I don't even want to tell this. It sounds like a name drop story. Sandler was in the same room, and Eric's kid wanted to meet Sandler.
Because Eric's kid sings too, by the way.
Does he?
No, she. I think. Yeah.
So I said to Eric, I'll go up to Sandler right now and like introduce your kid. He's like, no, don't bother him. He just didn't want me to bother him, so I didn't bother him. But those are good dudes, man. Fresh out of Southfield, Michigan.
Were you guys on the West Coast?
We were heading to. Okay. The West Coast. Because we're heading to the West Coast.
In Hawaii, we met Sandler in Hawaii. My kids, he's at the pool, and he's the nicest guy, celebrity, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to say. My son was like 6, and he's like, Adam's like, we're in this. They're taking a picture with Adam, and Adam's like, you probably can do a better imitation of Adam, but he's like, better not fart on me, kid, you know. And then after the photo, and then he's like, Adam's like, he stole my wallet, like to my 6-year-old. It's the funniest thing ever. I've parted on video.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. Seems like a good guy. But that's
class act.
Yeah, so that's all right. What else? What else did I miss about you? You're on Instagram at where?
I think we covered a lot of it. At the Real Mike Young.
The Real Mike Young. Okay. Saget. You toured with for how many
Toured
years?
with Saget for 10 years. He's one of my best friends in the world.
So-
Love Bob, miss Bob tremendously.
You talked to him like every day when he was alive, obviously.
We spoke every day.
Yeah.
And, that was one of the craziest things that ever happened in my life. Was that I woke up one day and got a call from Stamos that he heard that Bob was in an accident. And I texted Bob. I was like, yo, I said, hey. Obviously, I heard nothing. I texted his wife. Next thing I know, she called me crying, screaming that Bob passed away. And so that was one of the worst days ever. And I'll honor Bob with everything I do in my career as long as I live. Because he gave me, put me in front of thousands of people for 10 years. I was his guy. I opened for him. It was just me and Bob doing a two-man
really?
show. That was it.
You guys would travel together?
Yeah, he's in 2 of my movies. And I put Bob in a stand-up guy. And he's in Who the F is Mike Young.
It was such crazy. Like, by the way, that hotel he was at, I stayed there.
Did you notice how slippery the floors were?
I don't remember. I mean, I was
It's
like,
known to have slippery floors. And
Really?
Bob slipped and fell and freaking hit his head, and that was it.
yeah.
so-
I think I stayed at the one next door. It was like a JW. Was it the Four Seasons or the
Ritz.
Ritz, and the JW's connected to it. And I don't remember.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
Bob was my guy.
And his wife, you're close with.
Yeah,
and
Kelly.
She's awesome. I saw her at the Ned when we went and saw you.
Oh, yeah. It was a
Okay.
great night.
Yep. So now it's terrible. I mean, life is precious. I mean, that's what we've learned through all
Bro,
this.
that's it. People are like, Mike, why are you so happy all that? You seem like you're always upbeat. I am an eternal optimist. And it's pretty much because my dad died when I was 20. I had all kinds of tragedies as a young kid in my family. And I knew from a very young age, life is short.
How'd your dad die?
Pancreatic cancer. Fast. You know what I mean? Like, it happened fast.
Just out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. Ran 10 miles a day. Was a
Fuck.
college athlete. In shape.
How old
Greatest guy ever. He was 47.
is he? Fucking A, dude.
Fucking A. And so he was a big Detroit guy. He had a lot of friends in Detroit.
What'd he do?
He was in the scrap metal
Oh, yeah,
business.
you told me.
Yeah. And so between that and like multiple relatives around a short period of time passing away, I made a freaking conscious decision at a young age. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of my life. I'm going to pick the job I want and do it. And I'm just going to go all in and just try to have a positive life.
And be you. What has your mom meant to you, your career, and you?
My mom she loves the Sebastian slept in the basement. She loves that she's gotten to meet Leo. But my mom's funny on her own. My mom's really a funny person. She's been through a lot, man. My mom's had a couple strokes, and she's doing great. But, like, my mom has been through wars on her own. But she taught public school for 25 years in Southfield. So she had the wildest students of all time. So my mom is just like a quick-witted, funny person who loves kids. She loves my career. She loves what we get to do. I can't bring her to every day. Like, people don't understand. Comedians don't want their family coming because it's too much pressure when you're on stage. So, like, I always have to tell my mom, you're not going to this show. Why not? Sebastian knows me. I already texted him. He says I can go. I'm going. I'm like, I don't care what he says. You're not going. So it's like that type of relationship.
But do you think she's inspired you or your dad to be successful in this world and make the mark that you've made thus far?
Yeah, my dad always taught me, he always used to say to me, just be great at something. Just work your ass off to be great at one thing. And my one thing was like writing, which evolutionarily is comedy.
Yep.
Comedy is writing. So it's really just content. Whatever I write, I try to be great at. And really that motivated me to just pick this field, go all in on it, and be nice to people. My dad used to always say, you're going to see the same people on the way up as you are going to be on the way down, and you better treat everybody with respect. And so my dad was like that guy. he had friends. He'd be friends with the guy that worked on the house and the guy that owned the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And he didn't care who you were. He was cool to everybody. And I live by that code. I don't care who you are. I'm not better than you. I'm not worse than you. I don't see myself as anything better than the dude that grabs the dishes at the Ned who's taking it back to the kitchen. I really don't.
And that's what I see that your parents infuse in you, because, you know, you said be great at something, and I guess maybe not. It's not a talent to relationships, but you're great at relationships because you are a kind, giving, funny, easy person to get along with. And that, like from your parents, that last part you mentioned, your dad said, doesn't matter where they are, be nice. You know, it's a small world, and just like my dad, you know, my dad's as nice to the car parker as he is to, you know, whoever.
Yeah,
and,
that's it.
And that's who you are, and that. Those are just values that just happen to you, as you know, and you don't notice them, but you notice them by watching, you know. And
Thanks.
And so my last question though is, what is your first or worst job? Your first or your worst, or both? That's my,
like in life or
in
like
life.
out in the
in life, like you could have been a bus boy, you could have been washing dishes. Your first or your worst job, either just whatever's easier.
by the way, my first job was my worst job.
Oh.
And I got fired in one day.
Oh wow.
Out of high school, all my friends kept saying, yo, we're doing this phone call. We're doing these cold calling things where we're selling property up in northern Michigan.
Yeah.
And everyone says they're making money. So all my friends are telling me how they're making all this money by cold calling families. And so day one on the job, this is my first job. In this marketing company, it looks like this. It's like we're all at a desk making calls to cold calls. The first person I call, I say, hey, we've got some property. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We got property up in northern Michigan if you're interested. He goes, don't you ever call my house again. I'm at dinner with my family. He's cursing at me, and I'm like, I'm beside myself. So just like my metaphorical egging, I call the guy back, and I go, I know exactly where you live. Don't ever talk to me like that again. And the same time I did that, the manager of the cold calling place tapped me on the shoulder. He goes, you're fired.
Wait, he heard you do it?
He heard me do it. He was walking by right when I called the guy back.
Oh my
and
God.
he fired me. So my first and worst job was a cold calling job in a cubicle. And I knew I wasn't cut out for the regular world. Yeah. And that was it. I had many jobs since then that I liked and learned a lot from, but that was my first and my worst.
That's a good. That's a funny one. That's,
bro.
And the teacher, I know where you live.
I know where you live. I couldn't help it. I made a phony on him.
Yeah, no, that
the original Jerky Boys.
And you should have. I'm surprised you didn't make any of those videos, prank calls. I love prank phone calls. I listen on Howard Stern. Have you ever done that one yet? That's where you got to go for your next movie, Howard Stern.
I've done the wrap-up show. But I haven't done Howard.
Yeah,
I haven't been on Howard.
Yeah, Rappaport goes on there.
Bro, that was when I brought Rappaport on the wrap-up show for My Man is a Loser.
Aha.
That's when he went bananas in the room, and they started putting him on Howard Stern all the time.
Oh, see, there you go.
So I kind of
maybe he'll take you
that.
for the next, for stealing jokes, right? Like
I think so. I'll reach out properly.
Is Rappaport in that movie?
Yes.
Oh, so
he's great. By the way, my brother Rob is in a scene with Rappaport, and my brother is funny.
Oh,
my
wow.
brother plays Rappaport's doctor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I give him a scene, and he nails it. It's really.
Maybe I'll be an actor. All right. We've gone all which way around. There's so much more to this guy, Mike Young, comedian, writer, entrepreneur, director. 6 degrees of Mike Young. You name a person he's connected with. After we're here, we're about to FaceTime Jesse Itzler. We're going to FaceTime Leo. We're going to FaceTime every single person. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, I'm just kidding. We don't bother these guys. Let them do their thing. Maybe we'll go to the basketball game with them, though. We'll see. All right, Mike, thank you for coming on the Raz Report. And guys, get his movies. Type in Mike Young into your whatever, your TV, your voice. Get his movies. Let him make an extra $0.25 or $1 on some of these royalties, or some of the bigger ones.
Trying to get some new shoes.
New shoes. His shoes. He does have the QCs though, right?
What are these?
I don't know. No, they're not QCs. They're on cloud. On cloud. It's a public stock.
Bro, it's so funny that you just said that because I thought it was QC also.
Yeah, they're a little Q. I know.
It's
on cloud. It's a public stock, but I was looking to see our stock guy there. I don't see him, but on cloud. He told me about it a long time ago, and I never bought it, and it fucking took off.
Yeah, it's probably doing great.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we out.
We out.